Hey, what's up people? Just a small update today that I've just received Tamron's latest 35mm 1.8 and 45mm 1.8. They are SP VC USD lenses and they are Tamron's first foray into the normal focal range fast prime space. I have the Nikon mounts here and I'm gonna test them in the coming days with my Nikon D750 full frame camera because these lenses are designed for full frames. They are DI lenses. Now, I'm not gonna go into the performance and the image and video quality in this particular video because I've just received them, but I'm gonna give you my quick first impression out here. And it's good knowing the SP ranges of lenses. Now, first thing first, they are not cheap. In fact, they are more expensive than their counterpart, well, almost counterpart of Nikon or Canon. These lenses, each of them cost $599. Both are similarly priced, $599, $599, and they are same for Nikon, Canon or Sony mount. And note that Sony mount does not have the VC feature because the Sony cameras have inbuilt VC. And well, so $599 now. In India, that's about 47,500 on Amazon.in for each of these. That's more expensive, and the 35mm is more expensive than the counterpart Nikon 35mm 1.8G and Canon's 35mm 1.8. About $50 more expensive than either of those. Now, Canon and Nikon do not exactly have a 45mm lens. Well, they have, but those are 45mm 2.8 tilt shift lenses. Those are different things, forget about those. But the closest to them in Nikon and Canon are the 50mm 1.8 lenses, and they are darn cheap. This guy's $600. They are almost, they are just under $200. In fact, I think the Canon's 50mm 1.8 would be less than $150 of metal, and that's why they are quite heavy and much more heavier than again their counterpart Nikon and Canon ones. The 35mm is about 450 grams and this one, the 45mm, is about I think 520 or 530 grams. This one, in comparison to the Nikon one, at least Nikon one just over 300 grams, this one is 450 grams, so that's a significant weight gain. And here also 50mm lenses are very light, so compared to that, well, I cannot exactly compare a 45mm to a 50mm lens because a 50mm lens need least amount of glass elements, so definitely 50mm is gonna be the lightest, but still at least a 35mm is much more heavier than their counterpart. But they are definitely they have a certain amount of weather sealing because Tamron promises that they are moisture resistant and you can take them out in adverse condition. The third thing is that they both have 67mm filters, so you can just buy one set of filters and use them on both. A good thing. Fourth thing is that I absolutely love the buttons, the VC on and off buttons, the AF and MF toggle buttons, and the focus fine-tune ring here. They're absolutely smooth and you can override the autofocus, so anytime, even if you have the lens in autofocus, you can simply rotate these rings to fine-tune your focus. Plus the buttons are very nicely laid out so that you can quickly toggle them. Plus these buttons are big enough and you can quickly lock your fingernails in them. They are nicely coming out of the surface so that you can almost feel the buttons. So overall, I like the ergonomic as well, and these lenses ooze class, man. And the fifth thing, last but not least, is that feature MOD, minimum object distance, is great in both these lenses. So these lenses, I think the minimum focus distance of these lenses are some of the best in the industry. The 35mm lenses minimum focal or focus distance is only 20 centimeter and 29 centimeter for the 45mm. Tamron promises the 35mm has the minimum distance of any minimum focal distance of any 35mm lenses in the industry. Now, why that's important? Because you see, let's say for example a 35mm lens, it's not a telephoto lens, it's more wide normal kind of lens. So with those lenses, even if you have a very big aperture like 1.8, it's quite difficult to bring out the bokeh because you cannot create that depth of field because these lenses are so wide, 35mm for example. So that to be able to focus very closely on a subject will will give enough separation between your primary subject and the background to be able to create that bokeh. And these guys have circular aperture so that your bokehs can be perfectly round. We're gonna test those, but that's a very useful feature, the minimum object distances on these lenses. Now I'm not gonna go into too technical details in this particular video. That's for the full review video, like the LD classes and XLD and all the optics and kind of stuff. But these 5 points are the ones that I wanted you to note about these lenses. So guys, we're gonna extensively test these lenses with my Nikon full frame cameras, and will let you know how the Tamron's latest 35mm and 45mm 1.8 lenses stand. Thank you.